All right, good evening, YouTube. As you might have seen, Zoe and I are back on YouTube again. We recorded a podcast a few days ago, and yeah, we basically said let's do this more because with the current AI developments, we really want to stay in the loop a bit more and learn from each other what is happening in this space. And if you are a little bit like us and you're in a few AI groups or on AIX in the trenches, then yeah, you will find a lot of stuff basically on a daily basis that you need to understand or want to learn more about. This video is basically more intro video, introduction video. It's more a video that I made myself or an article that I wrote myself last week to understand better what agents are, so AI agents. If you're already very fluent with this concept, then this is not for you. But for me, it just was a manner to organize my thoughts a bit more. So to see if it's just all hype, this whole AI agent trend, or if there's actually some future to it, something to it. So I will just briefly go through this article and share with you my findings, if you will. So first of all, I created a Substack for this, so you can. I will link that here in the description so you can check it out. But first of all, we need a definition of AI agents. So what is it? Well, with the current LLMs, the big thing is that they're passive. So you just give them prompts in ChatGPT or Claude, right? And you get a response, but then you have to tweak it and you have to work with the output yourself, but it is not really a active proactive tool that does stuff for you. Now, with AI agents, that changes because they are, first of all, able of perceiving its environment. Then they can reason about goals. They can take autonomous actions, and then they can learn from the outcomes. And what I can best give as an example here is the new operator feature from OpenAI that got released this week. So there's a lot of stuff happening. You know, Operator Live, DeepSeek Live. You have to keep up. But what Operator does is basically you give it a set of tasks. It can take over your browser and it can perform actions for you. I've played a little bit with it and it's pretty surreal. Zoe, he tested way more with it because he's an engineer. He codes a lot. And he says, yeah, it's just crazy because I feel way more productive when it's on. I also saw this post from Tiago Forte. He is the founder of the Second Brain method. And he posted, I believe, yesterday that he just uses it all the time because if he's not using it, he feels 50% less productive already. So yeah, that's of course quite a statement, but I can see where this is going, of course. Probably in a while, it's pretty normal, pretty basic to have an operator agent running on the background that you fed your to-do list, so perhaps from Notion or Obsidian or whatever, and that it then is actually performing those actions while you sleep. Well, yeah, sounds a bit far-fetched perhaps, but I think this is quite clear that all these models are now moving into this direction. All right, let's dive a little bit more into some examples. So super easy one, customer support agents. I installed one myself for my own web shops last month, and just a no-brainer. You have an AI agent which you feed all your data, all your FAQs, your frequently asked questions, and your the most important things clients need to know. So now you don't have to have support agents live all the time or multiple. You know, you can just have the agent live that will have a conversation which covers basically 95% of all the default interactions because they're all the same, right? So no brainer. If you have a web shop, of course. Another example, cool one I've used myself, it's a financial agent, AIXBT. This is a AI agent into X, and there it scans different crypto projects and also markets, but also the sentiment. So it analyzes what's hot right now at the moment, and based on all that information, it gives financial alpha. So it's not really financial advice, of course, it always has to say that, but it is kind of financial advice. And just to give you an example of how this looks like, here. This is the current X feed of AIXBT. And 45 minutes ago, it posted about World Liberty Finance accumulated 86,000 ETH, blah, blah, blah. A lot of information here. And yeah, based on this, you can get some good info about the market if you should buy or not. And this is all automated. So this is not a human. This is done by an AI. And what's also quite cool here is that I can tag the agent. So I can just make a post, ask about a certain project, and then tag it, and it will reply with a response on that. Now, do I love this? Not so much. It's a nice idea, but for me the main lesson here is that I am in some Telegram crypto groups and WhatsApp groups. Of course, the current bull market is now underway. It seems like it. But what is interesting here is that people are seeing AIXBT as an authority. So they are doing their research, and then they give screenshots like these, for example, in their research posts with basically doing a claim to authority. So they say like, hey, I found this new coin. It's pretty cool. And I also found that AIXBT, I asked AIXBT, what do you think of it? And it gave a positive response. So what's important there is, of course, that the relationship between humans and the AI, because the AI agent now is being seen as a legitimate authority. And I think this will only happen more and more in multiple domains. All right. Next one, health agents. This is a bit cooler, I think. This is more close to what I like. It's a decentralized longevity research agent. If you're a bit familiar with Brian Johnson, the famous longevity biohacking dude that spends millions of dollars a year to become immortal, basically, you can have some opinions on that. But what he's doing is quite cool with the blueprint protocol. So he's basically researching a lot of science, and based on that, he's trying to create the ultimate protocol for his health. And what this AI agent does is it uses two models. So first of all, it uses a cheaper model like ChatGPT 4o Mini to scrape basically all research papers from bioRxiv and medRxiv. And then it uses a more expensive model like O1 to then actually analyze those studies and to then try to make improvements on the current blueprint protocol. And if you go to this website right here, it's longevities.fun, then you get the current research status, 141,000 papers scraped, 8,000 and a bit more were relevant, and then of those 433 were processed, and these are the actual proposed improvements for the blueprint protocol, which is cool. This is done by agents, not by humans, right? So the point here is that you now have the possibility of having AI research assistants that work 24/7 around the clock that can scrape immense amount of data that is not possible to be done by humans in that same time span. This brings us to DeSci agents and Agentic swarms. We'll spend not too much time here, but it's really cool stuff, actually. DeSci agents, that's just what I just described. The research, longevity research agent, that is a DeSci agent. So it's a decentralized science agent. And swarms are basically teams of agents that working together. And a swarm comes from a bee swarm or an ant swarm. Not sure if that's correct in English, ant swarm. And I have no clue. Whatever, let's call it a swarm. Because these bugs, these insects, they work together as a collective whole. They're individuals, but they have like a common goal, and they really like are aligned on that. And that's basically the same concept with these swarms. So you have different teams of agents that work together on a specific science problem, which is, of course, that's really cool. To keep it at that. Let's scroll a bit down. Last example, Tutor agents. This is one of my favorite ones because I already basically use ChatGPT as my own tutor. I built a tutor agent, just uploaded a lot of my Notion stuff, knowledge that I had in there, had a conversation with it, made a nice prompt, and now based on that, it can give me one-on-one teaching advice, basically teaching help, which is crazy that that's possible to me, because I can now have a conversation on the go when I walk my dog, for example, and I just ask it to teach me about specific issues I want to learn about. So, for example, I was listening to this Kurt Jaimungal podcast a few weeks ago about string theory. I have no knowledge whatsoever on string theory or theoretical physics, for that matter, but I find it to be really interesting. But yeah, it just goes over my head when these string theory PhD dudes are chatting about it. I just don't know what they mean. But then I ask ChatGPT, in my tutor agent, to explain it to me in a level that I can understand, to use concepts that I have previously learned about in the past that it also has awareness of. And that way, I have this dynamic relationship, almost like a one-on-one human-like relationship, where it can also give me interesting links. It can teach me some other stuff that's related. Yeah, just really cool stuff. They did this one study in Nigeria where they, hear this part, where they shown that students that used ChatGPT for 6 weeks after school learned the equivalent of 2 years of traditional schooling that the students used that didn't use ChatGPT. So yeah, massive potential here. And of course, we have this is a bit more meaningful perhaps than a financial agent, because here you can actually make an impact for children that don't have access to one-on-one tutoring. Cool stuff. All right, the second part of this article is about how to prepare for AI agents or the agentic era. And during my research, I found quite some projections or models on how this technology will develop. But for my purposes, it's not really important how much different phases there will be. But of course, we do need to have some kind of idea of where we're going. This one from NFX, this image right here, if I can open that like this. Yeah, okay, works. I think it's the most useful. It's super simple, and it's 5 phases. It gives some general overview. So first of all, phase 1, generalist chat. That was ChatGPT, right? Then phase 2, subject matter experts. Phase 3, AI agents. That's where we are right now. Phase 4, the AI innovators, and phase 5, the AI first organizations. So right now we're in the in phase 3, where we can give AI tasks, which it can perform autonomously. In phase 4, the agents can start to develop creative ways or explore creative manners to solve problems by themselves, so without the input of humans. And in phase 5, you will get the agents that are also self-selecting the goals. So not only do they perform the tasks in the areas that we want them to do and have creative ways to search for solutions there, but they can also select selves or choose selves. Hey, this is an interesting thing to solve, right? So yeah, then you will basically get organizations that are fully run by agents, and they consist by agents. Yeah, Sam Altman predicted this a while back, but I think that is coming as well. Now, that brings us to the big ethical elephant in the room, and that is that agents will replace a lot of humans. There are some differences on this. Some people don't think it will go that fast. I have this post below by Mark Andreessen. I will not go into this in depth in this video, but you can check that out. But to just highlight the dystopian element of this, I added this image that was shared in one of my WhatsApp groups a few months ago. Yeah, I don't think this needs much explanation on why this is a bit dystopian. The text is artisans won't complain about work-life balance with a homeless person next to it. Yeah, everyone understands here the implications of this technology. And yeah, in a capitalist society, the capitalist system, if there is a cheaper, faster, better solution available, then it will probably not take a long time for a lot of humans to be replaced in those areas. So what do we need to do about it? I think we need to do 2 things. And the first of those is to make a mental model adjustment. And that is to update our idea of what AI actually is. Like I write here, I don't mean to ignite a whole philosophical debate if AI does have consciousness or subjective experience. We can debate on that for hours, for days, not really relevant. My point here is more that we should start perceiving AI as if it has consciousness, because we will see that AIs will probably, or agents will probably be introduced in the workforce soon. And I don't mean this as tools that we use right now, like ChatGPT, just passive tools that basically every team that I work with already uses. No, I think that companies themselves will actually start hiring agents. So you will get, if you work for a company, you will get an agent, a colleague, or a coworker. That requires, I think, quite some mental adjustments for a lot of people. They will think it's very weird. You now already have like these AI bots being dropped in Zoom and Google Meet calls, and they're just recording. Now that will be agents actually talking with you and actually performing tasks after the call. So yeah, that will require a bit of a paradigm update, let's say. But yeah, the second part here is basically the implication here is that you need to pivot ASAP to a agent resilient industry. Because again, if you can be replaced, you probably will be. That's my thesis. I saw this image somewhere online. I'm not sure where I saw it. I think David Shapiro's X, and it showed that physicians right now are already worse off when it comes to response options than ChatGPT. So ChatGPT gives better responses than current physicians. It's already kind of mind-blowing. But ChatGPT is also more empathetic. So yeah, I realized this myself as well. I've been struggling with an injury for over 2 years, and I've chatted, visited a lot of doctors. I got a lot of different diagnoses, and the best one I've got so far, by just dumping everything in it, for this is like 5 pages of all my symptoms and all my doctor results. The best explanation I got from ChatGPT or diagnosis. So yeah, I can see how this works, but my thesis here is that for most humans, they will still prefer to have a human doctor or a human psychologist, or basically any niche where human to human contact is really key. I think that you're probably safe, although it's not a very solid belief I have. It's just an assumption. Even when there is a superior AI available, there will still be a human required in those roles, let's say. But again, not a quite strong assumption. Second part I think we need to do. So first, update mental models. Second part we need to do is just simply to learn how to operate these agents. You need to learn how to work with them, because they're coming, and you better know how to operate, how to interact, how to communicate with them in order to adapt, let's say. I wrote down a few things. Prompt engineering, pretty obvious, right? Not very spectacular stuff, but yeah, just know how to prompt these models. I haven't done any courses. I saw there are some websites to learn this. I just used YouTube and a lot of self-experimentation. Second part, I think it's quite powerful to do this, is to prioritize iteration. Sorry. And what I mean with that is that I've noticed within myself that I got quite complacent with my use of my own GPTs, for example, in the sense that I have this static model of software. My interaction with some software is quite static. If something doesn't work, I often wait for the app to be updated. Of course, with agents, with GPTs, that's different, because you can directly prompt them. You can have a very direct influence in just updating your prompts. And with agents, this is even more profound, because if they really get into this human to human relationship with you as an employee, for example, it does make sense to have a weekly check-in. Just as you have with someone you work close with, it does make sense to have a weekly check-in with your agent to discuss basically how things went, and to update the prompts a bit to adjust its programming. All right, third one I'm going to mention here is this one, Toolstack Mastery. I saw this meme somewhere on X again. I think it really it resonated, because if you're an introvert like me, then you understand this concept, right? If you just have a good set of tools, you master some basic agents or AI tools, then there's a lot of potential here, because the leverage is so big, and because the leverage is so immense. We have now this myths, or this stories that soon we will see the first AI self-made billionaire. I think that is true, because if you learn the right skills here, then that's possible. You basically can exclude almost any human contact soon, if you want that. Not saying that's necessarily a good thing, but that is possible. So yeah, that's probably coming as well. So learn some tools. Last one I have had here, using AI as a mentor. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that right now, but basically, yeah, just have a better relationship with AI and learn how to use it well. All right, if you like this, make sure to like and subscribe below. Also check out the Substack, and I will see you in the next